And there we go. And again, this is for teaching computer science, a perspective from a non-computer science teacher. And let me do share screen. I don't believe I have any sound, but I'm going to go ahead and share it and bring up that PowerPoint. Let's do this one. All right, so I am teaching computer science. Now what? A perspective from and I added this in now, formally non-computer science teacher. My name is Carrie Hare. I work for Northwest RPDP. That's a regional professional development program. And I work mostly in Nevada, or obviously Nevada in the Reno area. And I do a lot with the other counties up here, like Lyon County, Churchill, Carson, Douglas. And we're going to get started as soon as I get my slide to go. There we go. So today's agenda is going to be my story, and I'm going to get an abbreviated story from you. I want to talk about why teach computer science. And then once we talk about why teaching computer science, some lessons I've learned as I've done my journey in computer science. I'm going to share some strategies that I've used to be a great computer science teacher, I think. And then some things to think about as you're teaching computer science. So really today's goal is to come away with strategies and more confidence in your ability to teach computer science. And so here's what we're going to do. And thank you, Matt and Francis. You guys are too kind. We are going to play a game. And what we're going to do is you're going to shuffle your cards, split it between you and your partners, keep them face down, wait for directions, wait. We are virtual, so we can't do this. So what I did is I created a Jamboard with a simulated card game, and I'm going to go ahead and share a link in the chat for that. Don't click this link yet. I'm going to go ahead and talk about how we're going to go about this. So we're going to play a game, and it's really just to start thinking about algorithms, because algorithms are a really big part of computer science. So we're going to play round one, and you're going to play until you have no cards left. I'm going to give you 3 rounds, and I'm going to pull up the Jamboard so you can see what that looks like. And on each Jamboard, there are 15. There's directions and there's some cards. And I'm going to put you in breakout rooms of 2 to 3 people. If you're in breakout room 1, you're going to go to slide 1. If you're in breakout room 2, you're just going to go next frame over, and you're going to go to slide 2. If you want to get there faster, you can expand that out, because if you're in breakout room 58, there's not 58, but if you're in breakout room 17 going, it might take a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you guys breakout rooms. And I'm going to create $15 breakout rooms. And I'm going to open all rooms. And what I would like you to do is, when you see what breakout room you're in, go ahead and click the Jamboard, go to that slide on the Jamboard, and see if you can figure out how the points would be distributed. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll go to each room.
Can you please put the Jamboard link again? I accidentally clicked the Google Meet breakout room before I opened that.
Oh, that's fine. Yes.
Thank you.
There we go. You're welcome. Anybody having an issue with their
Yeah, how do
breakout
I
rooms?
get back to the breakout room now that I'm back in?
Let me see. What room were you in?
I was in room 9.
Okay.
I'm having the same problem. I was in, oh, never mind. I got it.
Did you get it, Claire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure which room I was in, but I went to the breakout room while you were explaining the instructions, and then I came back.
Okay, so Stacy, you're in room 3. I'm just
Okay.
gonna switch. I'm just gonna switch you and Claire, so then you get another request to go to that room if it's
Okay.
not working.
Okay, I'm going to room 9. I'm accepting this request.
Okay, I'm gonna go to room 4. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jocelyn.
Carrie, can you post that link again for the,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I joined the breakout room and then I didn't open the tab.
I need to go over that a little better. And I always forget that too. I jump into the room and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't get the Google board up. Okay, so
And I was in room 10.
I'm gonna have you go to okay.
Okay, how do you enter a room again?
Carrie?
I think at the very top, you click that little icon and then switch it over to your room number.
What icon?
I looked at the very top when I did it. It was small, so it was, I almost didn't think I was going to find it either.
Is this the room we're in? I'm sorry.
I think she has the Zoom open where we can talk to each other, but then there's also the,
Is this the breakout room we're in?
no, I'm talking to you from the main.
Okay, so confused. Where'd she go?
I think she said she was gonna check into other rooms.
Yeah, I think she's checking the room. The thing is, how do you enter a room?
Yeah, I can't get in. She never sent me.
We never got any info. Hey, Torres.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, the roller, man. The cord is not working. The cord gets stuck. Now the
I
code is
see.
working. Now the robot is working as it should be, but the roller is getting stuck with the cord. So.
I should have brought the cord.
Yep.
It's nylon, so it should be fine.
Yeah, that
Well,
other
I don't
cord is
know.
not working.
Are we in
So,
any competition yet? How
yeah,
did
they
we
already
do?
went. I don't know. They're on it as we speak.
Carrie, I never got a room to go to.
Yes, you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to redo this all over again. I have a second algorithm, so we'll try that one out. I love the robotics meet going around in the background. I think that's so exciting.
Sorry, yeah, I had to be here.
No, I've been there so many times before.
It's loud, so I can't hear very well.
So for those of us who are in a room, are you going to take us back out or do you want us to stay in that room? And if so, how do you make points in the room?
What I'm gonna do is I think the rooms are all closed now. So everyone's back. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the Jamboard, and we're going to go over this algorithm together and just kind of talk about it as a whole group. And then I'm going to set you up in another round so we can just kind of see how that would work. Okay, so with the Jamboard, I'm going to post the link in for round 2 in just a second, but I want to go ahead and bring up the Jamboard that we looked at, or some people got to look at. And let's see. All right, so here's what I'm seeing. Can everybody see this screen right here? Okay, so how would you score these three rounds? So the first time you flip over a queen and your partner flips over a 5. And so we need to decide how are the points given. So if the card is red, award your team 1 point. So let's start with this queen right here. Is that red? No. Okay, so are you going to get a point? No. So then it says else award the other team a point. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a pen here and say, okay, they're going to get a point for this round. Am I done with these sets of cards? I see a few people shaking their heads no. Can someone in the chat just say, why would I not be done with this set of cards, the Q and the 5? Or you can unmute and say, why do you think we're not done with this round?
Doesn't the queen get a point too because the 5 wasn't a red?
Exactly. Thank you. So I went ahead and I looked at what my card was, but we didn't look at what my partner's card was. So now I'm going to go through it through the eyes of my partner. So my partner drew a 5. Do they get a point? No. So I get the point. So I'm going to go ahead and put a point there. Okay, so take a second and look at the second set of cards we do. So I flip over a 9, my partner flips over a king. What do you think the points would be on this one?
The king gets a point
A king gets a point.
and the 9 doesn't get a point.
And the 9 doesn't get a point. Okay, Sarah said the king gets 2 points. Why would the king get 2 points?
I was thinking the same thing because the king is red.
Okay, so
Because
yeah,
both-
we looked at
both
it.
partners again. So
Yeah.
one would end up with nothing and one would end up with 2.
Yeah, exactly, Sarah, and I think that was Tammy. So 9, and then the king is also red, so we need to go through that eyes, and the card is red, so they're going to get 2. And then, so on the final round, how many points would you get?
2.
2. And then how many points would the black get?
None.
None. So it looks like after this, it's all said and done, you got 3 points. Okay, mouse drawing is not easy. 3 points, and your partner got 3 points. So it was really a wash. Nobody officially won this game with these 3 rounds. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try this again, and I'm going to make the directions a little bit more complicated. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, for time's sake, we're not going to do the whole breakout sessions. I'm just going to put up one of the Jamboards and give you a few seconds to try and check it out. But let me go here and okay, so we talked about how to score these cards. So here's the next set of directions. And there are 2 sets here. They're the same directions. One's in a little bit more computer speak, but in round 2, if the card is red, award your team a point. Else, if the card is higher than 9, award the other team 1 point. Else, award your team the same number of points as on the card. I see a lot of wows. And if you look over here, the second purple, it's the same. It's skip verification. Okay. All right. So rather than going into breakout rooms, I want you to take a second. These are the same cards. How would these cards be scored? Okay, so take out a piece of scratch paper. Think about who would win, you or your partner, and try that out. I'm going to give you, let's go 3 minutes or so.
Are we looking at the first 2 cards again?
Yeah,
Or are we
so
doing
what we're going to
all of
look
them?
at, We're looking at all of them. So try out the first two cards, see if you can assign points for the first two cards, then go down to the next two cards, round 2, then go down to the third set of cards, round 3. See if you can figure out how many points each round would get you and your partner.
So Carrie, I don't want to be the guy that's contrary, but if I was plugging this in with students and my bots and stuff, it depends on your phrasing, because even the last time it says if and then else meaning if it didn't occur on the first one. So your last time score would mean that you get a point, but else you wouldn't get another point. So your else actually doesn't occur. If you say if and then would be the next step, correct? So the computer would only go to the else if the first one wasn't met, correct?
Yes. So the one notation I think I would probably change, which I think you're getting at, is that this else right here, I would make that an else if, because
Okay.
else is just kind of the default.
Yep.
But I guess it would default if this isn't true. So yeah, I think you're bringing in that idea of, is it a nested conditional or is it not a nested conditional?
Yep.
When do I get down to the second if else statement? Because
I know we're coding from our robotics team. I have the robots running and some of the students aren't. I have 5th grade and 6th grade students, and some of them aren't quite there with which ones to put in. And I'm like, well, sometimes you put a condition where the machine is just driving and you don't tell it to drive to a certain point or a distance or a reaction. Whereas in like, that's the way I'm looking at this coding too. I was like, if this, you would award the point, but then else. So else would mean like, if I didn't award number 1, then it would go to the code. If it does reward number 1, then it's finished.
You're done.
Yep.
That's correct.
But I'll try it your other way as well.
So I want someone to put in the chat for round 1, just round 1, the queen and the 5. How many points did you get? How many points did your partner get? So Claire says, me 0, partner 5. Do we agree, disagree? All right, so let's go ahead and check it out. So let's start with the queen. Okay, so the queen, is that card red? No. Okay, so we go down to the else. Now within the else, we have to ask ourselves a different question. Is the card higher than 9? Yes. So then that means the other partner gets a point. We never get to the else. Okay. Oh, let's say the queen is equal to 12. Okay. So let's go to the queen is higher than 9. So it doesn't matter how many points the queen is worth. We're just going to give the partner 1. Okay. So then let's go to the next one, the 5. Okay. So is the card a 5? Or sorry, is the card red? No. Okay. So then we have to decide, now that the card's not a red, is the card higher than 9? Still no. Else award your team the same number of points on the card. So I think that's a 5. It's lower than 9. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself 5 points. Okay, so it looks like in round 1, you got no points. Your partner got 6 points. 5 points for the card that was not a red, but lower than 9. And 1 point for you having a card that was not a red, but higher than 9. All right, round 2. What do you think round 2 is? And did everybody follow that thought process? So with the conditional, we start with the if. If it's true, we stop. We never go down to the else. But if it's false, then we go down to the else and we try these two out. And again, if this is true, we stop. We never get down to the next else. But if it's not true, then we go ahead and go down to the next else. Okay, so this round here, the 9 and the king. 9 is not red. So now I need to go to the second decision. And
9 points.
9, is 9 higher than 9?
Nope.
No. If it said higher than or equal to or greater than or equal to, so then we get to go down here and it says give yourself 9 points. Okay, so then we go over to the king. Is your card red? Yes. So we're going to go ahead and give myself a point. We never go down to the else. This is off the table once we've awarded that point, that if statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then down here, this is 1. And is this card greater than 9? No. So then this person gets 8 points. So I guess when we do all the addition, you got 10 points. And 6, 7, 15 points. So your partner won.
6.
So 10 to 15. What do you think about this? It's pretty challenging. And here's what I really like about this activity is it's called an unplugged activity. And one of the students in the video was talking about how they recommend that teachers give them problems beyond programming to really get the logic down or the thinking down. And this is one of those great opportunities to do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back to that PowerPoint. Okay, and let's go ahead and get into the whole session. Now that we got to get a little bit of warmed up, do some computer programming, AKA math. So agenda, we just went through that. So a little bit about my story. I'm going to go fairly quick. I'll let you read this meme and then guess what I taught if you didn't hear me earlier. Sarah, I agree. These are great for warm-ups. Okay, yes, I am that math teacher. I am the math teacher, that person that everyone warned you about. A lot of students came into my class not wanting to learn math necessarily, and it was quite the obstacle to get them into that relevant content. And anything I could do, including coding, to get them excited about math, I would do. And so that kind of got me into this whole computer science realm. Okay, so I really wanted to be different. I wanted math not to be about memorization and speed, but finding patterns and connections, and computer science fits so well with this idea. I also wanted kids to have relevant and useful classes. Not too many kids are ever going to have to factor a polynomial. A lot of students will interact with the computer at some point, whether it's just thinking about how is it working to honestly programming, although I did read an article that programs are going to go away in the next 5 years because we'll have AI that does it all for us. So that was an interesting read. So in 2015, I was in a setting in DC with some of the top math science teachers across the country, and we had to just get up and share what our passion was. And what I decided my passion was going to be was curiosity. And I wanted kids to be curious. And I wanted kids to always ask, why does it work? Why does it work? And with that, I decided to jump into computer science. Okay. And in computer science, I started small. So if this is a very first step for you going into computer science, I'm going to highly recommend you do Hour of Code. This is something you can do in your class on a Friday fun day. It's an hour. I'm going to go ahead and open up this link so you can see what it looks like if you're not familiar with it. I started doing Hour of Code when I taught middle school math with my middle school math kids. It's officially the first week in December, but you can access this whenever you want. What I love about it is you can click activities and you can search whatever grade level you are. And it gives you some ideas. You can actually look for subjects. So if you're a social studies teacher and you want to look at how coding can be within social studies, it pulls up some great activities. And again, these are just Hour of Code. It's not a course. It's something you can do as a teacher to get that computer science into your class. I also did a coding club for 2 years. What happened with the coding club is it turned into the robotics team. And I started a robotics team at my high school. These are some of my kiddos, second, third year of the robotics team. And what that led to is we really needed computer science at our school. And in 2018, another math teacher and myself came together and said, you know what, we're going to get this going. He had a computer science background, so he started a course, and we both went and recruited and got one class going. And within 4 years, we had 7 computer science classes going. And that was so exciting for us to see how much the kids wanted it and how much it grew. Okay, and that's my story. And I love it. So here's what I would like to do. If this wasn't virtual, you'd get into your groups and you talk about how you're getting into computer science. But I want you to do this. I want you to share your story in the chat. What is your home subject? Your home subject could be science, or it could be your passion. And then once you tell your home subject, one word that describes your journey, whether it's future or current journey into computer science. And I'll give you, that's a lot to take in, your journey in one word. So I'll give you about 30 seconds or so to think about that. New. Mary, I feel that way. Random. Physical education, awesome. Science, a baby. Tammy, I'm right there. I was right there with you, and I still feel every day that I'm right there with you. Everywhere and everything. Brock, a starter. Hopefully I'll get you some ideas as we finish out this session. Unexpected. Contemplating. Chemistry. Nice. Literacy and loving it. Yay. ELA. I had a coworker at my school last year who was English, and she brought in robots into her class after taking some computer science classes. Robotics, fed science. Jennifer, that code.org could be some great activities that your students can work independently or together. Oh, they love it. Oh, awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go on. Time. Yeah, the time was a killer for me, and I'll tell you how I dealt with the time. All right, so why do we want to teach computer science? And this came from an article, and it's really, the kids want this. 4 reasons you should teach computer science. And let's see, time's sake. We have 20 minutes. I think we can get this done. This is an article basically from code.org. And it has 4 big ideas. It says your students really want to learn computer science. You can make serious inroads towards gender, racial equity, and education in STEM careers. You'll be part of a diverse group, a diverse, supportive community, transforming education. And you can take what you learn to other subjects. And I saw so many other subjects in there, and you can definitely take a lot of these ideas into your subjects, and then maybe be like me and jump into computer science if that's your passion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 links in the chat. The first link is to this article, 4 reasons why you should teach computer science. The second link is going to be a Jamboard. We're gonna skip any breakout sessions. And what I would like you to do is pick one of these 4 topics that really resonates with you and read that section of the article. It's like a paragraph. And then once you read that paragraph, I want you to click the Jamboard link and put a post-it on there, something that, again, within that section resonated with you. And then we'll share out some of the big ideas. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put both those links in the chat. Okay, so the article link is in there. So go ahead and pick one of those 4 and read that section of the article. And then I'm putting the Jamboard link in there right next, and put one sticky note on there with the thought. And when you go to the Jamboard, if you pick number 1, it's the first slide. If you picked number 2, it's the second slide. If it's number 3, the third slide, and so on. And let's go 5 minutes on this.
Carrie, sorry, was the sticky note that we put in just like our thoughts on that section?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're going to go for about another 2 minutes. I love what I'm seeing in there so far. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring us back together. And let's look at some of the things. So your students really want computer science. And so it's interesting to see what people say. I love that there were so many students wanting this class. It was amazing, the turnaround. I saw a handful of elementary school teachers here. It is so imperative that the elementary school teachers get computer science into the hands of the students. I love my kiddos at the high school, but they're less likely, diverse groups are less likely to come into high school computer science because they've already had those preconceived notions if they haven't been introduced in elementary school. So elementary school teachers, I know that's a big push for you, but getting those kids excited about computer science really does break down those barriers and those stereotypes. I love that computer science is engaging and interactive. When I first started teaching it, the choice that was there for students was just amazing. All my kids got to make an app and they got to choose what their app was about. A decision maker app, they all got to choose what their decision was going to be. What game should I play tonight? What restaurant should I go to? What clothes should I wear today? Where should I go on vacation? And so the students have that ownership, and it's so exciting to see them take that ownership and run with it. So you can make serious inroads towards gender and racial equity in education. Let's see, I'll give you a second to read those. Again, so I agree 100%. I've had twice in my career a student as a senior in high school join computer science, was afraid to take it earlier, but their senior year, they took computer science, joined the robotics team, and said it was the best choice they ever made, and they had wished they'd done that earlier. And so really getting it into the hands and inspiring students to take this course earlier than later is so important to that gender and racial equity. Nobody put one on here, so I'm going to go ahead and put what I put, or tell you what I put. I was a math teacher and I loved my math peeps, but I really stuck with my math peeps. And so this gave me the opportunity to get outside of my comfort zone and meet so many other amazing educators. And then last but not least, you'll take what you learn to other subject areas. Lead learner, holy moly. If you've been through a code.org workshop, if not, they're offering one in Nevada this summer. The lead learner model is so amazing. And it really saved me my first couple years teaching computer science. All right, so hopefully you got some really great ideas from that article. I encourage you to go back and read the other sections if you have chance. And this PowerPoint and video will be up on the Canvas course, so you can go towards, or you can look up more about this since we don't have a lot of time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep going. We have about 10 minutes left. I think we'll be fine on that. All right, so lessons I've learned as a math teacher venturing into the world of computer science. This is one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite books, Artemis Fowl. Confidence is ignorance. If you're feeling cocky, it's because there's something you don't know. And boy, was that true my first year teaching computer science. All right, so in my mind, computer science was programming, but it's not. And I learned that in the summer workshop I took right before I taught it for the first time. And there's a lot. How do you learn a whole new field and then teach it to children? And so here's what my first year looked like. I focused on the lesson objectives. I used code.org. There's some great curriculums out there. I followed the canned curriculum with fidelity. It was a lot of work. I read those lesson plans and I'm like, okay, so I get what they want us to do. However, even though I read those lesson plans and I felt like I really understood what was going on, I was winging it a lot of the time. Sometimes the kids would come in and be like, Miss Hare, I think you meant this. And I'd be like, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking. I totally misread that lesson plan. And that's okay. It's going to happen. It was a really scary year for me, but it was necessary. And I'm giving you permission to have a very scary year. It's okay. Kids are so forgiving. And so as I went through that year, I thought of some different approaches to teaching computer science, direct instruction versus student-centered. My class was very much more student-centered, and code.org really kind of pushed it that way. However, there were times when direct instruction was necessary. So what is that balance? You do have to give them some direct instruction. But when should you do that and where should you do that? Should you do that at the beginning of the lesson? Should you grapple with it and do that at the end of the lesson? And that was pretty much what I did. I set them loose, let them try stuff. But then at the end of the day, we all came together and talked about, well, this is what you were supposed to get from the lesson. And this is how I would efficiently do it, not necessarily the right way to do it. Okay, and again, within computer science, you have trial and error versus follow a procedure. Sometimes you're just going to follow an algorithm. I was really good at following a procedure being a math teacher. But what I learned really quick was trial and error is better for our kids. Let them try it. Let them be creative. Let them fail and learn from their mistakes. And amazingly enough, I took that same idea into my math class and I would give them the problem before I gave them the procedure. And then again, we'd follow it up with the procedure at the end if necessary. Okay. And then last but not least, individuals versus pair groups. You really want to consider those two when you're teaching. So when should it be an individual project? When should it be pair group? And for my classroom, pair groups were imperative. We were always working in pairs and groups because I was so new to the subject. I let the students work together and figure things out. However, for me and accountability, they would work together, but they would turn in individual programs. And I liked that for me. Again, it's your preference, but definitely let them work in pairs, whether they turn in pair projects or individual projects. Again, what works best for you? Okay, so this is what I think it takes to be a great CS teacher. Okay, you need to find resources that work for you. Something that saved my life was Crash Course Computer Science. This is through PBS. Sometimes I had no clue what was going on, and I could come here and find a video about programming. What are statements? What are the algorithms? I taught this during COVID. These were great for the kids during COVID, or if you have to be out for a day, having the kids watch this. It could be enrichment or not, but that was a great resource. That's the one I really wanted to share with you if you're not familiar with it. Code.org, great. Again, that curriculum saved my life my first year, and I learned so much. I know CodeHS is a great resource. Code Combat. Code Combat's interesting. It was free until it's not, and it's not free anymore for teachers. However, if you have your students sign up for their own account as a family account, then they get that for free. Okay. And last but not least, oh, thanks, Francis, for saying yes on the videos. Last but not least, social media was one of my best friends. Being the only computer science teacher in my school for the last 3 years was pretty challenging, and not having people to bounce ideas off of was really tricky because my first 2 years I had another computer science teacher there. And I know that's probably true for a lot of you, is you don't necessarily have a colleague at your site. So Facebook, I was part of the AP Computer Science Principles and AP Computer Science A group, and I would get so many ideas. I put this one up because this is a grant you can get for curriculum for You Teach, which is a pretty good computer science program. I'm not sure if it's approved, but you can always use it as resources to enhance your curriculum. Jocelyn, my opinion of Scratch. I like Scratch. I use it a little bit. I feel like Scratch is a great beginning language for upper elementary, early middle school. That's my thought. It's a great block program. Anybody have any other thoughts? Anybody want to add in the chat about Scratch for Jocelyn? Because I'm not as experienced with Scratch. I've only used it a little bit. All right, so Jocelyn, I'll keep that in my mind for the future. If anybody, oh, it's great for teaching logic. Thanks, Sarah. I found a buddy. My buddy was not at my school. It was at a school that was a couple miles from me, but we would text each other. So find that buddy. When you're at a training, if you go to a training, find a buddy that you feel like you align well with and get their numbers, text each other back and forth. Let's go here. Let the students be creative in their process and products. That's so important. Having the students own their work and giving them the choice within their work really gets that buy-in and keeps your program running. And I was going to have you do something with this, but we're not. So focus on the thinking. Again, this computational thinking, decomposition, pattern recognition, algorithms, abstractions, it kind of gives you a short definition for each of those. This is what the students need when they leave our classes. They may not be computer scientists or go into that field, but all of these ideas they're getting from computer science are so important just for their everyday life or any career. So really quick, I am going to have you do this in the chat. Which one do you think is a strength of yours? Do you think you have strength in decomposition, breaking down problems into smaller parts? Pattern recognition, observing patterns and trends in data, algorithm, thinking about what steps are needed to solve a problem, or abstraction, looking for that relevant information. Decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, a little bit of everything, not a lot of algorithms. I feel like math teachers are really good at algorithms. What's really interesting to me is that I feel all of these are very important. In certain subject areas, definitely lend themselves to others. But if you don't teach computer science and you teach another subject area, keep this graphic in your head, because all of these can be addressed in whatever subject you teach. And they do teach that computational thinking. All right, and then last but not least, for me, admit when you're clueless. The kids will rescue you. They're awesome. They're like, thank you for teaching computer science, because Nevada is amazing with pushing computer science and getting it into the hands of the kids. And they're okay if you don't know. Okay, so again, to recap, use resources. Once you're comfortable, then move away from the canned curriculum, but stick out that first year. Understand what you're teaching. Find a buddy or support group, whether it's a buddy you text or a support group online. Let those students be creative in their process and admit when you don't know. And what you shouldn't do, I just have to put this in, limit participants. Don't teach through lecture all the time. Let the students work by themselves. Don't let the students work by themselves all the time. Make sure you have a nice balance, and don't do it all on your own. There's so many resources out there. Find those resources, use them. Okay, so perfect timing. I'm going to put the link in the chat for the session evaluation. I feel like virtual sessions are so hard because I feel like I'm constantly talking, but here we go. Link for the chat. Or link for the evaluation. All right, it's in there. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your next 2 sessions. I hope you enjoy the weather you're having, and thank you to all the thank yous. And if you have any questions, or you need a buddy, or you need a resource, my email's right here, chair@northwestrpdp.com. Reach out to me. That's my job now, is to support teachers in their computer science journey. And that's it. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna clear out the room in about 4 minutes, even if you're sticking with the next session, just so I can get the next speaker in and get him all set up. Go down here. Thank you.
What's the session name? I'm sorry.
Yeah. What was that question again? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm doing the survey and they want the session name.
Oh, okay. Let me put the session name in there. I'm teaching computer science, now what?
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to put that in the chat for anybody else who's still left in here.
Is this the same survey as the one on their Canvas, or do you know? Like,
It
do we
is the
do
same.
two?
It's the exact
Same
same.
one.
I
So
copied
just-
it right off of Canvas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Uh-huh. Hi, Chris. I just let you in. I'm clearing out the room from the last session, and I'm going to go ahead and make you a co-host. Thank you, everyone who's still here. Oh, and I'm going to stop the recording.